Welcome to the Philly Fan Radio. I'm John Myer along with Dan Palmieri, and today we're actually going to talk about Week 10 versus the Packers. Yes, the Eagles won in this awesome blowout game of 10-7. And in fact, it was two straight quarters and the very first time on a primetime Monday night game that there has been a scoreless first half by any team. Dan, we've got a lot to talk about. I mean, how the hell do we even start this podcast? So many things have gone, how do I say, weird.
Yeah, you would think with a 10-7 game, we would have a very limited amount to talk about. But there's just as much off the field crap to talk about as there is on the field. So I think we should get into the game because the game is probably going to take 5 minutes for us to discuss and then 45 minutes for us to just bitch.
Actually, I like that. I was going to start the episode with bitching, but let's talk about this game. First of all, everything went right for defense in this game, in my opinion. And there was some. I can't even pinpoint a certain area where they needed to exclusively, improve, except for Ringo and his pass interference. Good old Dan's favorite, player on the team. He absolutely loves him. In fact, he's getting his jersey, right, Dan?
Yeah, if they make it.
Actually, they don't. I checked. It was going to be a Christmas gift. But anyway, this game defensively was great. I mean, the acquired trades that they got, let's just talk about Jalen Phillips. Is this a diamond in the rough like Zach Baun?
Yeah, I think he's always had potential. The potential was there. He was a high draft pick. It's just that, as we kind of said, injuries have derailed him in his career so far. But I honestly didn't think he would make that much impact because he's a smaller guy. He's a slender guy. I didn't think he'd be that good holding up against the run. But, I mean, he was shedding tackles and being able to get the ball carrier down. So, I mean, it greatly improved their outside run defense, which was a big problem all year long. So, I mean, you couldn't have a better start to an Eagles career. I mean, from everything he said when he was coming here, that it was the greatest day of his life. And his wife is pregnant, by the way, so that means a lot. And, just performing on the field like that. And, in Miami, he's not going to get the same atmosphere as he is here. So I think on Sunday night, if they introduce the defense and he gets introduced, I think he's really going to be in for a nice treat out there.
Yeah, definitely seeing him out on the field. First of all, that one-arm tackle where he's got a guy and he sticks his arm out and he clotheslines him and grabs him down. There was so much. He was in on the fumble or the turnover for it. He was everywhere tackling him. And the other defensive players, everybody stepped up except Ringo. And it was really definitely one of those big things, like a Jomo who called out the play and knew what was happening. Because if you look, I mean, he was watching tape, must have been during the game or saw it afterwards, because you literally saw that play after play go to the inside zone. And he called it out literally that was happening. So he was forced to go the other way, which everybody was all over it. It was by far one of the best defensive games that we've seen from the Eagles all year, in my opinion.
No, I completely agree. I can't think of one thing that stood out that they defensively did wrong. There were towards the end of the so to be a negative Nancy, towards the end of the game, they let up that touchdown because honestly, they played prevent defense, and I can't stand the prevent you from winning defense that goes on. But I mean, that's the way it was. They were playing probably 10 yards off. They were allowing the short throws until eventually they got down the field and scored a touchdown. So would it have been better if they would have just stayed aggressive? Yes, but overall, I mean, that defense was lights out, and the defense is really, really coming along here. The last, there have been a little hiccups here and there, but I have been pleasantly surprised with the defense, and I think that if we can generate a consistent pass rush with our front four now, which we did in this past game, it's going to elevate our secondary play. It's going to elevate everything.
And it's definitely improved. Now, BG, the return of BG happened for this game. He was limited in his snaps, but you saw him out there. You saw him making an impact when he was. It's his first game. Give him a couple games. He's going to be in for the long haul for the end of the season. So it was nice seeing him there. Everybody else stepped up. Just getting in and unsettling Love, which was really interesting because there was some interesting play calls or decisions by Love that I just were like, why? Why would you wait? Who? I mean, you would have thought Kevin Petula was calling the plays on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, Love is let's put it this way. I've always felt that Love is a mediocre quarterback. Not to say he's bad, but anybody who puts him in the elite upper echelon of quarterbacks is nuts. I just don't see it. And Matt LaFleur, he can be a good coach, but he also is one of those where he's not innovative. He just is nothing special to me. I mean, for everybody
Wait,
that
you
says
talking about Petula
Matt
or
LaFleur. Oh, don't even.
Sorry.
Petula. LaFleur. I mean, everybody looks at Aaron Rodgers was like the second coming of God in Green Bay, and he was a great quarterback, but that didn't translate to many Super Bowls. You know, they only won one Super Bowl, so it's not like they're this juggernaut, and they're a great team. I mean, that defense that they have is elite, to say the least. So, I mean, to come out with a win is fantastic. We've got a lot of issues on the other side of the ball, but the defense itself was fantastic, and I think they made Love look worse than he actually is, which is what you're supposed to do against a good team.
Yeah, he was definitely unsettled in the pocket, he wasn't even making quick decisions. He had the ball for a little bit longer in some cases, and he had opportunities, but his throws were not there. And in speaking of this side of the ball, let's go to the other side of the ball. Dan, offensively, there's a lot of improvements. We're going to avoid the main topic until after we're done kind of talking about the game, only because it'll probably take up, like Dan said, about 35 minutes of us just bitching up a storm. Now, there was no run game. It was just, what do we have? We had the one breakout by Saquon, 360 move. That was probably the longest drive or longest play of the game besides Smitty out there. Now, that was our touchdown run. It was an out route to Saquon. Saquon actually made a lot out of nothing as soon as he made the defender miss. I mean, if you look at play tape after play tape of Saquon, it's the same move. It was almost the same move. I mean, he didn't do a backwards hurdle on this one, but still, he got what? Did he get like 40-some yards on it?
It's like 41 yards, yeah.
Yeah, 40-some yards. Then the play afterwards, it was a bomb to Devontae Smith. It was really cool to just see. He went up and he took it away because if it was a little bit under, but he still went up and grabbed that right into the end zone. It was awesome.
Yeah, agreed. I thought Hurts was just slightly off on some of his throws, especially the deep throws. That could have been the weather. It was the swirling winds. I mean, it's not like he was horrible, but his accuracy is not normally where it was. And Devontae just continues to be a solid guy. You wouldn't expect a 170-pound guy who's soaking wet to go up there and just play like that. And he shouldn't really surprise us and impress us that much anymore. But, I mean, he's just a fantastic player. And dare I say, the best wide receiver on the team.
I agree, or the best receiver on the team, and then after that, in my opinion, is Goddard, because Goddard was there too. Like, Goddard pulled them out of so many things in that. Now, when you were talking about Jalen, and he seemed a little off on some things, here's what I noticed. Their first drive, what was it, 7-8 minutes or something like that? It was unbelievable. Until it was taken away from Hurts, so Hurts fumbled the ball. It was punched out. But they were on a solid drive down, like literally just kind of, ticky-tack, getting a lot of the yards, getting the first downs. After that, and this is not normal for Hurts, after that, it seemed that the drives were stalled. There were 3 and outs, and he just looked like his accuracy wasn't there.
Yeah, agreed. And if you look at the running game, after that too, it struggled. I mean, in the first drive, they were getting good runs. Not great, but they're still getting
4 or 5 yard clips. I'll
yeah,
take
exactly. The third and shorts, they were
that. Yep.
getting third and 2, third and 3. And the rest of the game, it just seemed like they were consistently in third and 12 and third and 10, where everybody in the world knows that for some ungodly reason, when it's a third and long on this team, we do an inside draw. I don't understand it.
I mean, we see that. How comes the offensive coordinator doesn't see that? Is that a decision that's happening like, okay, Hurts, you've got these decisions to make, and he makes the same one over and over? I highly doubt that. I think our offense, and we've been saying this all year, has been very stagnant, very vanilla. The play calling. There has been instances, and it only happens within the first drive, the first series that were happening, where the play calling is creative or innovative. And then after that, we just go back to the playbook and say, here, we just want to go left, right, and you're done. Like, it's not innovative.
Yeah, there's nothing really to it. It's a very standard offense. They don't. I know they look like they want to be identified as a run first team, which is fine. But they're not getting the runs where they should be. So there's got to be other ways to create different matchups. Bring some motion in. Pitch it outside, stop with these inside runs, because our guard play has not been that great this year. I mean, I'm not a fan of Tyler Steen. I don't know how the hell you feel about him, but, you got Brett Toth out there who was a center. I mean, he played well. I'm not going to dog him. He played well, but we both know that he's not really a running center. He's a little undersized. Yep. So it's been a struggle on the inside. We just don't see consistent. And you're talking about those third and longs, we as fans are seeing it. And what do you think a seasoned defensive coordinator is seeing out there? Obviously he sees it. So, I mean, even those third and long draws are getting 2 yards. And I just don't get it, because we have a stacked offense. We have a quarterback that we shouldn't be afraid to unleash. He can throw the ball in tight spots. He's a Super Bowl winning MVP. He is an all-pro. I think he was a second-team all-pro. I mean, there's nothing that should be holding the coaching staff back and saying, okay, well, we don't want him to go out there and make this mistake, because we should have enough confidence in our guys to not go out there and make a mistake. So I just don't understand it. We shouldn't be in third and long, first off. That's just stupid. But if we are going to be in it, why are we just relinquishing our drive? We're just giving up.
Dan, there's two things I want to unpack in that thing. Is one, they literally, Petula was given a playbook from last year. Kellen Moore said, here, this worked, do it. And I know you don't want to take somebody else's stuff and reuse it. You want to make it your own, but you've never been an offensive coordinator in the league. So I'm thinking you should borrow some, maybe call up, offensive playbook for dummies, however you want to do it. I think one of the biggest things in that is that, like you said, we have the weapons. What has changed from last year? Okay, so we have a different center right now. All right. A different guard in place. All right. Okay, you have two. What else can you do? I mean, you still have the greatest offensive weapons out there, and we're not utilizing them to the most. I think this offense, if we don't change now, if nothing changes now, when they make to playoffs, and they are the number 1 seed right now in the NFC, it's going to be a tough. They can't sustain it. They can't win against it. It's going to be impossible.
No, I completely agree. I mean, you cannot sustain a playoff run where only one side of the ball is, top notch. We've seen it, We're winning now, yes, but eventually we as Eagles fans know that the shoe is going to drop. You're not going to be able to sustain this. And, the offense has to start carrying their own weight, and I just don't get it. I mean, all our financial investment is on the offense, and so there's really no excuse. And, I put something in there in our little sheet that I wanted to bring up, and I think it's a good it's a good way to describe it is that when we go into a game, defensively, we are the aggressors. We are crashing down. We dictate to the offense what they're going to run. On offense, we're passive. We allow the other team's defense to dictate to us. So basically, it's like we're only ever countering. If they're going to blitz, we're going to counter with this, which is fine. But the fact is, we're countering what the defense is doing to us. When are we going to start asserting ourselves as the Super Bowl or the Super Bowl champions on offense and say, we don't give a shit what defense you're going to run on us. We're going to just go in there. We're going to run our scheme and pound you in the mouth with it and let you adjust to us, not the other way around. And I think the offense is the complete opposite of what our defense is in terms of aggression, in terms of play style, in terms of really anything.
Yeah, what we're doing, and you hit it right on the head, is that as a defense, we're having their offense dictate to us, right? And we're doing it. In fact, you and I were very concerned with our defense for the beginning of this. Now, I think I agree with you 100%, is that on offense, we come up to it and we see what the defense is going to give us, and that's how they dictate what the offense is going to do. I think we should go out there regardless of man or zone, and there are cases where you want to do man coverage and you're going to, do a deep bomb or you're going to do a slant route. And we've seen some of those where they were open or whatever it is. But if you tell the defense what you're going to do, they've got to change it up on the fly, and there's going to be mistakes that happen that's going to let some openings.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when's the last time we saw a good in-game adjustment from the offense? I mean, we need to get back to, and we saw it against the Giants, we need to get back to being the aggressor, punching people in the mouth, saying basically at the snap, we're going to run this type of offense today. If we fail, we're going to die on our sword because we tried to do what we do best.
Yep.
But if we succeed, then that is our formula. We're not going to let you come into our house and dictate how we're going to play. That's just passive. That's not the mindset of a champion. It just isn't. And last year, there were moments that our offense did look very passive, but the fact is that schematically last year, we were very effective. It doesn't matter. We were having issues last year passing the ball. Everybody knew it. I was a firm believer that the reason we weren't passing the ball is because why would you? We're running the ball for 5-6 yards of carry, so why ever would you pass the ball? Then
they came out to the Steelers game, shoved it down their throat, and said, is that what you wanted to see? So, shut them up.
So, I mean, we just need to figure out what this team is best equipped to do, and that's going to be schematically something that has to happen. And I just don't have the confidence that schematically our offensive coordinator and our offensive staff can create a scheme to highlight and utilize our best weapons.
Dan, they keep saying we're trying to find our identity. 9 games in, should you really be trying to find your identity?
Absolutely not. Your identity is something that's supposed to be found after the first quarter of the season. The fact that we haven't found our identity yet, and we're sitting at 7-2, is mind-boggling, to be honest with you.
It's amazing that we haven't found our identity. We want to be a run first. No, we're not sure about what we're going to do. Dan, here's a question, and you and I have been talking about it on and off the entire thing, and we blame Petula, and then we blame the offensive line, and there's going to be and we're going to bring up another topic. Is it really Petula? Is it the offensive line, or is it Jalen? I can understand if it's a piece of all those, but there is one person who sits at the top of that who's an offensive coordinator that should take all the blame, and not Nick Sirianni saying, we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that. Offense should have been fixed. If we mishandle the ball in certain cases, that should be fixed. Or we're not getting open in certain cases, that should be fixed. Not our entire offense. At 7-2, by the way, we're bitching about that. Go figure.
Yeah, and it's, everybody's on Petula, and I am on Petula because I just don't feel like he is making the correct adjustments needed for a failing offense. And so, yes, I blame Petula, but I also blame execution. And what I mean by that is A.J. Brown, for instance. I just don't see him getting open. I don't care if it's man.
No,
I don't care if it's zone. No, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that one play. I know.
Actually, there was 2 plays I showed you, right? Two plays.
Okay.
He was
right.
Okay, but 2 plays out of how many plays did they do? How many snaps? Like
Yeah.
50, 60 or something like that. I know we're skirting around the main, I don't want to say main topic, but the thing that's going to consume most of it. I agree with you that AJ his effort isn't there. What do you do about that? That'll be further to discuss, but there are some instances that he's open, but we've seen it where he's dialed it back or his effort isn't there. Now, he did a nice block for Saquon for that 41 yards. I watched that. I paid attention to that because a player of his caliber who is frustrated, would he block? And if he didn't, at that point, I'd sit his ass. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, and the point I'm trying to make is that I think it is a mixture of so many things, but I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around it. And what I mean by that is this past game without Cam Jurgens, we have 9 returning starters on offense. That is not enough changeover to dictate that we're going to run a different scheme and be this unsuccessful. I mean, we're talking about a top 5 offense from last year being in the top quarter of this year. And that's not to say they can't turn it on, but at some point, somebody has to step up and say, this shit ain't working. We need to revamp it. And I know they're running more under center, and that's fine. That is good. They're showing more success there, but there needs to be some kind of consistency there. And somebody needs to be standing up in that room and saying that this offense is unacceptable. Whether or not that means Nick Sirianni taking over play calling, I don't know, because I don't think he ever will.
I'm not sure. Wait, didn't we try this once?
Yeah, and exactly. Is that the fix? I don't think that's the fix.
Well, can it get any worse?
Well, no. But, I mean, that was the problem with Brian Johnson, is that he was running the quote-unquote Nick Sirianni offense. And the reason why we went and got Kellen Moore was because we needed outside thinking, out-of-the-box schematics. We needed something different because the Nick Sirianni offense just doesn't seem to work in the NFL right now. Or at least it doesn't work for the Eagles. So things need to change, and this year, obviously, we're not going to get that change. And I hope to God at the end of the year we're saying, oh my God, Kevin Petula is the next head coach, but head coaching candidate. But, I mean, you know, it just doesn't look that way right now.
Maybe he will be, and we could get somebody else. So, I mean, it would be 5 coordinators in 5 years. But, Dan, there was the last play on the offense at the end of the game. It was 4th and 6 on the Packers' 35-yard line. The decision to punt or field goal. And I would have been, listen, what they did is the offense went out there to do it. But here's the problem. Actually, I've got a couple problems here. One is their clock management completely sucked in this game. I was watching it go down to the line. There was only a couple times that they had plenty of time. They went out there to try to maybe draw them off, we thought, but they've had like 5 seconds. So they literally had to quickly snap the ball. And it went out to AJ, who didn't catch it. No, okay, no big deal. That could have been a field goal, and they could have missed, so they would have stayed at the same spot. The conversation was, it was out there that they went rogue. And then there's Nick Sirianni in the press conference. I knew what the play was. It was run, right? Did he say it was run or something?
Yeah.
He said
exactly
it was run.
what it was.
I knew what the play was. He goes, are we in a debate? So did they go rogue and Nick's covering it? What would you do in this situation? Would you have actually attempted to go 4th and 6 with a 3-point lead on the Packer 35?
Hell no. Hell no, I'm not going for that. I'm not even, whether or not they went rogue is beyond me at this point, because I'm not sending the goddamn offense out there. The offense should have never been on the field.
Nope.
What's the worst that can happen if you punt the ball? Okay, barring you get it blocked or whatever, but you get a touchback, meaning you get the ball out at the 20. You just drained probably 6 or 7 seconds off the clock. So now you're telling me that Green Bay needs to go from the 20 to, with the way that it was, probably had to get to their own 35 or 40 to attempt a field goal in 25 seconds with 0 timeouts. Instead, you go for it. I don't. And the way that
They
Sirianni
almost got it if it wasn't for the penalty. They
Well,
literally were right there.
I don't care. Honestly, I don't care if they got a goddamn touchdown. I don't understand why the hell they went for it. I don't. I've never seen that.
I'm talking about like the Packers almost got to the line for him to kick the field goal right at the end. And if it wasn't for the penalty, then we would have been talking overtime for this game probably.
It was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I honestly was in shock watching it. I was watching it with my son, and I'm just staring at the TV like this, like just trying to figure out what the hell did I just witness? Because I'm thinking, everybody's thinking like they're going to go and try to draw them off sides.
But they only had 5 seconds left. It was poor clock management this game.
It was so stupid. It's just, there's nothing to gain by that. I know you're going to put the game away. The game's going to be over. I got news for you. You punt the ball, the game is over, because that defense was just suffocating.
Yep. And if they would have went for it and tried a run, we know that probably wasn't going to be as successful because Barkley was getting hit in the backfield. And in most cases, he didn't get any yards, or it was negative yards after like the first quarter. In fact, Dan, I didn't even talk about what the stats were. So let's just real quick recap this one. First quarter, scoreless. Second quarter, scoreless. Third quarter, hey, field goal by the Eagles. Woohoo! Fourth quarter, touchdown by the Eagles, touchdown by the Packers. This is probably one of the lowest scoring games by this. Now, Dan predicted a 27-17 victory by the Eagles. I got worse by the 31-21 victory by the Eagles. Nobody predicted this. Horrible in all aspects. I mean, it was a great defense game for the Eagles, in my opinion, to see them out there. 294 total yards for the Eagles, 261 for the Packers. Yeah. This was a very interesting game. I think the huge positive that came out of this game was the defense and how it looked. I feel confident going in against the Lions this Sunday for a primetime Sunday night game that defense is going to be a strong defense for them. In that I'm predicting they're going to win. There was a couple of other commentators out there on WIP that we won't mention that used to be an expert, a retired bird, that said they're going to lose. Oh, well, he's being a little reckless, but let me tell you.
Yeah, okay.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah, well, he made some outlandish stuff, and I don't know if it's clickbait or not, but, I don't get it. And I'm kind of on the opposite side of the fence right now with you. I do not think they're going to win.
No?
Because of the fact that their defense is going to hold them, but when I say hold the Lions, I'm meaning more of like 24 points. Then will our offense show up to be good enough to score 24 more points? I just don't know. I haven't seen anything out of them consistently to tell me that that's going to happen. You're not going to see our defense hold the Lions to 7 points. If they do, we're talking about one of the best defensive performances of the year by any team. So I don't see it.
Well, since we're on this topic, and we usually hold it to the end, Dan, I put my prediction into our document. And I'm predicting the Eagles 34-24, since you said they're going to hold for 24 points for the Eagles. I'm predicting the other way of an Eagles win. So, Dan, what is your prediction here? And I already put the Eagles loss. Sorry.
I think it's going to be 23-20.
All right. 23-20. Do I have a feeling that the offense is finally going to get straightened out? I'm on both sides of it, but I think, yes, given the next topic that we're going to be talking about, is that I'm hoping somebody was slapped silly, straightened out, and taken care of during practice yesterday. And I'm thinking this is a Steelers game. I'm thinking we're going to see some great rushes by Saquon, if not Bigsby. Hell, we might even see Shipley out there. Maybe there's going to be some creative stuff. I don't know. It is a short week for it. That's the only downside, is that they're coming back from Green Bay to play the Lions on Sunday night, so they got a little bit of extra time. They are the number 1 seed, and winning this will push them even further away from the contenders and keep them there. Yes, we're only talking 9 games, so there's a lot can happen the rest of the season. All right, I got your prediction in, Dan. I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too. I just don't see it. I don't see it getting out of hand for either way. It'll be a close game. It's just there's something weird that I do have this inkling feeling that AJ's going to go off. I don't know why, but I do have this feeling that he's going to go off. But I don't know.
Yeah, but see, that's dependent upon him getting the ball and Hurts going through his progression. We've talked about it. Is AJ number 1, number 2 in the progression? Because in most cases, it looks like he's down a little bit later and the guy's open. So is he going to go off? I'm hoping so. I'm hoping he takes all this pent up whatever and just manhandles people.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't see it, only because the offense hasn't shown us sustainability, and I really hope I'm wrong. So it'll be a great game either way. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting caught too much in the Lions just put up 44 points and 569 yards thing. So hope I'm wrong.
Okay, so Dan, if you got a second, take a look at the document, the last line on it. My other prediction that I just literally are like, I have a feeling here. The Eagles win. And I'm going to let you get to it. Let you read it. What do you think?
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, will you tell the audience what you're seeing?
Yeah, say your bold prediction, Saquon to go over 100 yards. I could see that.
Read up a little bit next to the Eagles win.
Oh, defense will force 2 turnovers. Okay. 2. Are they going to be interceptions or defense or fumbles?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it does.
Why? Why does it matter? It's a turnover. They fumbled it or they intercepted it. It's a turnover, right?
Because I want you to be wrong either way.
This is why I'm going vague, and I almost went 150 yards for Saquon, but I decided, you know what, 100, and I was actually going to put Bigsby in there. I don't know. I think with everything going on in prime time, this is going to open up. And Dan, I got to switch gears because this is going to take us a little bit of time, and we're going to run out of time bitching a little bit. Okay, what Dan was alluding to in the beginning of this, excuse me, is that we were going to start talking about the current situation that's going on, but, it was only supposed to take 5 minutes to discuss the game. We kind of went off onto it. Sorry, we have no time clock here. Let's talk about it. And in fact, we shouldn't be talking about it as a 7-2 team because, well, they're winning. Who on the team should be whining? I mean, why would anybody whine? Well, the only person that should be whining or would whine is T.O. And since T.O. is not on the team, we've got A.J. Brown, who is continuously going to social media and complaining and making comments. Take me off your fantasy. This is a shit show. But then he's in the locker room like all fine and dandy and butterflies. That shit's right, and we're a team and an effort. Dan, before I rant anymore, I'm going to let you jump in.
I don't get it. I don't understand his personality. I feel like his locker room speech was scripted a little bit because of the fact that everything he said was contradictory of what he keeps
I just think he has another
out.
Personality, and that person that's in place of everybody versus the person who's at home on a computer or phone.
Maybe. I mean, on a personal No, he does. He has made it public that he's dealt with depression, anxiety, that type of stuff. So that is possible. But, there's got to be a point that this shit's got to stop. And it's just, there's nothing positive coming out of it. Let me put it this way. If I only ever heard his locker room speech, I'd be like applauding. I'd be like, AJ, you're absolutely right. The team's not good enough. You should get the ball more because you can make that kind of impact on offense to where maybe you can right the ship. And that none of what he said in his locker room speech was me, me, me. It's about the team. The team is not good enough. The offense as a whole sucks, and that we need to carry our own weight because the defense is balling out. Perfect. Absolutely. Blaming everybody. That's the way it should be. Instead, we got this moron going on social media playing as a Madden team and basically saying it's a shit show. My personal life is great, but my work life sucks. He throws himself the ball in a Madden game and he says, look what I can do when I get the goddamn ball. What is the problem? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
At 7-2, the problem, why are we having a problem? I can understand if the offense, and we've said it, the offense is stale. And we talked about a couple of the plays where AJ is open. I've seen them, and they're broken down. Now, we don't know where he's at in the progression. We don't know what Jalen is seeing. We don't know if somebody's in his face at that time. But the fact that he is complaining about him, that he is going out on social media, he is going and talking to, making all these comments, and then in the locker room, making it a team problem, a team issue, is totally baffling to me. And he's been doing it all. First of all, AJ, the only thing you're causing is problem for the team. You're causing us to talk about it, which is pain in the butt. Yeah, if we don't talk about it, we can't address some of the stuff that we're feeling from a fan perspective. But at the same time, having Nick Sirianni, having Jalen answer it, having Saquon answer it. Now, Saquon always answers the correct way, though this last time he did say it's an offense, we need to improve, blah, 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 and going on it. But Nick Sirianni saying it, everything's all right. I talked to him. Everything's good. And then that. And then actually having Big Dom intervene and get Jeffrey Lurie and them together out on the field. Is something really going to change there? Is Jeffrey? I don't see Jeffrey coming out with a wooden spoon and telling him to knock it off.
I don't know. I don't know if even the context of that conversation was that big of a deal. But it shouldn't.
Maybe they were ordering pizza or a cheesesteak. Who knows?
Yeah, well, it shouldn't come to that. It really shouldn't. There's nothing.
What is he hoping to gain?
Exactly. There's nothing positive that's going to come out of it.
Think about it. What are you going to gain? Okay, listen, this is what you're going to gain. Jalen's going to throw it for you to shut up. More interceptions. Just because he's going to force this stuff out there. Or are you going to contend them? Right now, you're unhappy. We've seen your playing out on the field, and in most cases, you're unhappy. Granted, you've done some great things out there, but continuously, we're seeing your... what is going to come of this? What is your ultimate goal? I really get getting tired of beating around the bush and having these discussions that he's posting and then having these ones at the locker room. Literally, what is your ultimate goal? I want the ball more. Okay, go do some sit-ups in your driveway and we'll be fine.
Okay, so let's not beat around the bush. And let's hit this thing directly head on. He's a me first type of person. He's got a me first personality. He wants team success only if he's the one driving that success. Yep. And that's just not the way a team wins. He can be that type of player on a different team that doesn't have the weapons. Okay? You could go to the Cleveland Browns. You could get the key to the city because you're going to put up 200 yards every game, but you ain't going to win because that's not a sustainable way to win. You put up 1,400 yards consistently every year with this team. This year, yes, it's an off year. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows. Everybody's frustrated.
What is he, 400 yards?
Yeah, he's got 400 yards. So
400 yards.
It's horrible. It is. But publicly dragging this thing out, and like you said, Nick Sirianni's getting pissed off answering it, and I completely understand he's getting pissed off about it, but the fact is that it's a valid question. He's never going to give us the truth. He's never going to bash his player, but it's a valid question. The fact that Jalen Hurts has to constantly answer things about his star receiver being a child, basically, let's call a spade a spade. He's being a child, is ridiculous. He's not paid to address that type of crap, and he shouldn't have to. This is a guy, let's not forget, this is a guy that somehow in some ungodly way got a C on his chest. Is that a captain? No. Hell no, that's not a captain.
I think that right there, all his actions, that should be stripped. He should not have that. Why he's trying to do that? A captain, let's just put it this way, like Jalen, Saquon, those are captains because of how they portray it as a team thing. They're not BSing when they're out there. They're literally telling them, listen, it's on us. It's on me. We got to do better. We got to do this, right? In all cases, A.J. Brown says that at his locker, but behind the scenes, he's doing all this stuff. Actually, not even behind the scenes. I mean, think about it as a teammate. You see these posts, and you're like, dude, why the fuck are you putting that out there? Like, literally, right? Now I got to go answer questions to media about this shit, rather than talking about a 7-2 team that's got the Lions to play. We're kicking, I would say kicking ass, but we're winning. Why? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about something else. In fact, their entire press conferences talk about AJ and like 6 minutes of that shit and how it's going. Prep for the Lions, and are you going to change in the offense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's every week. It is every freaking week. I've never seen this with a 7-2 team. I've seen this shit with a team that's right about to fire their head coach. I've never seen this with a number 1 seed in the NFC. This defending Super Bowl champions. I've just, it's baffling to me, and I can't justify it. And I talked to you about this before, and maybe I'm getting too wrapped up in it, but I can't help but not root for the guy now. I can't. Every time he catches the ball, I'm going to root for team success. Because if he caught the ball, then obviously there's some kind of team success happening. But I can't. It's stupid, but I just can't bring myself to wear his jersey. I can't bring myself to root for him as a person. I'm sick and tired of it. I am. Let's look at it. People complain for specific reasons on a football team, okay? They complain because they want more money. They complain because they're not getting individual accolades, meaning team success, and all this stuff. He got paid, okay? You got a Super Bowl ring. You have a chance to do something in the league that rarely anybody ever does, which is go back to back. You've got a chance to do all these things, and yet you're still bitching out there. What more do you want? I know you want the ball. Everybody in the world knows you want the ball. But why do you need to go on these social media platforms and say these things? If there's nothing, like you've said a million times, there's nothing to gain by it. And I'm sorry, I just can't root for the guy anymore. And I'm starting to get in the back of my mind, was it really that much of a coincidence that our offense was a juggernaut when he wasn't out there? I don't know.
Did you notice that? The Giants game where he had his hamstring thing, all of a sudden our offense was just clicking everywhere. I mean, Saquon over 150 yards. I think there comes a point when a player does become, and I'm going to use these words lightly, detrimental to the team because he's causing more chaos internally than he is helping the team on the field. I agree with you. When I see AJ catch the ball, whether he goes for 100 yards, whether he goes for a touchdown, I'm going to root for the team. And then I'm going to tell him to shut the hell up. You got the ball, you got your touchdown, I just think this is something that a losing team should be arguing about and saying, I need the ball more so we can win these games. You're winning these games. Now, granted, the offense is not where it should be, but you're winning these games. You're not helping by complaining on social and then contradicting yourself at the locker room that it's a team thing in offense, and I just want to help the team. Go sit down and read your book.
And to put it in context, I mean, we're not the offense has sucked, yes, but it's not like they're going out there and beating up bums here. I mean, in the top of the NFC, we hold tiebreakers against the Buccaneers, the Packers, the Cowboys, the Rams. I mean, we've beaten the Chiefs. It's not like we're going out there and we're beating every week the Browns and the Bengals without Joe Burrow and the Raiders. I mean, we're playing top-notch NFC teams and beating them when our offense is trash. So my main thing is, and you're talking about detrimental to the team, and Nick goes out there and says he's a good teammate, he's a good everything else when the doors are closed. At what point does his behavior outside the doors spill into inside the doors? And I'm sorry,
and
but you cannot... Yeah, exactly.
They've
You
got to
cannot
answer
tell
the
me.
questions on the podium. They got to answer questions internally at the locker rooms. That's pouring over inside.
You can't tell me that he goes from bitching, and then gets to the NovaCare complex, and it's like, okay, let's focus up, guys.
I love you. You're great.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you high fives?
Yeah, don't worry about throwing me the ball. We're good. We're winning games.
Yeah. Don't worry about everything I said on social.
Yeah.
I'm just rallying shit up a little bit.
And then let's go play Twitch and fucking life sucks. I'm gonna kill everybody. This really blows. I don't know what to say about it. It seems like every week we're talking about it, kind of like Sirianni does. And you know what? At this point, it's exhausting. It really is. It's mentally
Well, we
taxing.
can stop talking about it, but then obviously...
No, it's worth talking about.
It is. And here's the thing about it. And the question could be, is the media making more about it than it should be? Well, everybody's commenting and talking about it. But if it wasn't put out there socially, publicly, on outside of the complex, then it wouldn't be an issue. The analysts would only speculate. Us fans would only speculate, oh, man, I'd love to see AJ get the ball. We would not be whining, oh, the offense would be much better if they got the ball, whatever it is. But if he didn't put it there, internally they wouldn't have to answer it. The team wouldn't have to worry about it. The team wouldn't have, to me, it becomes a Debbie Downer, and it becomes a guy who's just bitching and complaining about it. I don't see anybody else going out on social and saying, we would do better if I got the ball. Or we do better if I blocked. We would do better if, Saquon got the ball. We would do, hell, the defense didn't, and they were having some trouble time too. Oh, it's... If they let me do a fucking gap hit, we would stop them all the time. No, it just doesn't happen. Why is it that wide receivers are such freaking divas?
Yeah, and you brought up a great point. Is it the media blowing things out of proportion? Now, we all know the media, especially in the Philadelphia market, is going to magnify everything. They take a bone and they run with it. They go with a story. A.J. Brown is unhappy, all of a sudden unravels to he put a down payment on a condo in Miami or something. Something stupid.
Yeah, he's going to Ohio.
Yeah. Does the media make it worse? Absolutely. But if you don't put it out there, there's nothing for the media to speculate on. Don't make it public. Don't leak the information. Keep that shit in-house. There's nothing to be gained by making it go out there and being available to the world. It just, there's nothing there. And this show is about taking things to the fans' perspective, and this is purely fans' perspective. And it's just, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to clamor up and say AJ's doing the right thing. He's making his voice known, blah, 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 blah. I don't see how that's the right thing to do.
Publicly and make your voice known like that. Here's an example. Dan, you brought up a really good one earlier, and I'm going to use it kind of a similar. It's like you're unhappy at work, right? But you show your happiness while you're at work. And then you go home and post how shitty your work is. Your boss sucks. And if he would give you more work or less work, however you want to put it. But then internally, you're like, no, it's all good. But I've seen these. I think blah, blah. You deal with this stuff internally. Why would you make it public? and you solve the issue. Now, here's a good point. Why hasn't Sirianni squashed the shit out of this? Now, granted, AJ's a big boy and he can do all his social stuff all he'd like. But at some point, when is enough with this? When do we stop talking about this? Does Jeffrey Lurie, after this game, regardless, when AJ doesn't get the ball, lost, whatever it is, does AJ go and post? When is enough?
Yeah, and that's another thing we could speculate on. I mean, was the context of the conversation with the owner having to come down to the practice field, hey, I signed your check, shut the hell up. If you don't like it, I can surely void that check. Or was it AJ just cut the crap, we've seen enough? Or was it, hey, AJ, love the socks, whatever.
Or was it, AJ, hey, I know you're unhappy or something like that. How can I help you, sir? No, put your big boy pants on. Man up. That's what I want to say. Mm-hmm. Like, knock your shit off.
Yeah, I mean, be part of the... It's so corny, but be part of the solution, not the problem.
C off. Sorry, I'm getting a little frustrated.
Oh no, I would have ripped the C off weeks ago. I don't see how that's captain behavior.
You said it. Yep. No,
I don't see how it is. Give it to Devontae Smith. I don't know how he's not a captain. He doesn't go out there and bash people.
No, and if he's unhappy, I'll tell you what, you can't even tell. To be honest with you. And I don't see how he could be unhappy because he's getting the ball. But
Well, he's getting the ball because he's open. He's getting the ball because he consistently goes out there and plays hard. I mean, he's, again, 170 yards, and he's blocking. I mean, there's a lot of things to unravel with it, but we should be talking about unraveling a 7-2 team, what they're doing wrong on the field. It should not be a discussion as to what the hell is happening off the field. And it consistently is because it's something to talk about, and it overshadows team success. And there's nothing good that can be gained to that.
Well said. Well said. It overshadows team success as a 7-2 heading into a Sunday primetime game. We got to talk about this shit.
Mm-hmm. And it just, I hope it stops. I really do. And I don't see how it's going to stop unless AJ starts getting 8 receptions for 150 yards a game.
Yeah, but that's just feeding into his personality that he needs the ball. It's not going to stop until we appease him. You know what? It should stop regardless he gets the ball or doesn't. He should wear that C with pride and not force feed the guy. He should do everything in his power to help the team win. And if he only gets one. The other thing, Dan, I got to talk about this real quick before we wrap things up. In fact, we're running close on time, is that I can't stand the stat of targets. The only time it plays in that he was targeted 10 times and only got 8 is that he missed 2 of them in a conversation, not that he's only been targeted. Whoever the media was that asked Sirianni, why was he only targeted 4 times? First of all, throw that shit out the window. If you look at a play and how it breaks down, if Jalen went through his progressions, he couldn't target him because he wasn't open or he didn't make that progression. Not why was he only targeted. You don't throw it to dictate the game in the aspect that you just want to make it as a target. You'll throw it because he was open. You throw it because he was available. Target crap. Stop asking those questions, media. Why was he only targeted 4 times? How the hell was the game played?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the play, he could have been first in the progression in about 12 plays, but he only got 3 thrown to him because of the fact that's the way the coverage went. And real quick, to go back a little bit, you said a good point, he shouldn't have to get the ball to, change his behavior. Well, do you honestly feel that he's going to change his behavior if he doesn't get the ball?
Nope.
I tell this to my son all the time. You can shit in one hand, you can want in the other, and see which one fills up faster. That's the way it is.
I think it's his personality. I don't think it's going to change anything. My prediction after this Super Bowl run, regardless, there's going to be some changes made because the Eagles organization doesn't tolerate this. Howie doesn't. Jeffrey Lurie doesn't. They're lucky Nick is still around. So I don't know. I just think if he doesn't shut his mouth, it will be one of those TO off-season things.
I completely agree with you. I don't see it changing, and God forbid they don't win the Super Bowl. I don't see him on the team next year, and I know there's a huge financial cap that goes with that, and maybe another episode we'll talk about that, because as ridiculous as it is, I've been researching what the cap hit would be if they actually traded him in the offseason. So, but
after June designation, or
well, they're not going to trade him before June. Real quick, if they trade him before June, it's a $41 million cap hit. Winning franchises
unless they
don't
come
do
to
that.
an agreement to restructure his contract.
Yeah, I don't know how any of that would work. I don't.
And maybe it's an agreement on both sides. Hey, you're unhappy here, go to Cleveland, we'll restructure you. You get $1 million this year. See ya.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
All right, everybody, I got to wrap things up. And before we do our closing, I'm going to let Dan actually do our traditional closing now. Dan, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, let's think about it. This Sunday night is going to be a fantastic game. There's going to be energy. The fans are going to bring it. I really hope that things shake around. I hope that my predictions are wrong and everybody could say, Dan, you're a freaking idiot. What the hell are you talking about? You predicted them to lose and they won. I don't see it. I hope things change. And you know what? The defense is always going to be consistent and good because of the fact that Keely Ringo ain't on the goddamn field. And I'll throw it back to you.
All right, but everybody, this has been the Philly Fan Radio. I'm John Myer along with Dan Palmieri. Guess what? Go Birds!
Go Birds!